So Manny Pacquiao could face disciplinary action from the Nevada boxing officials for failing to disclose a shoulder injury right before his fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Manny has a significant tear in his rotator cuff, but Pacquiao and his team, Mr. Bayless, checked no a day before the fight on a commission questionnaire asking if he had a shoulder injury. Joining us now to discuss playing injured or playing hurt is our favorite guy. And when you join us, you upgrade the show.
Well, I don't know about upgrade the show, but I do know this. I watched the show yesterday, and my good friend.
With this one?
Yeah, that's Skip Bayless.
Okay.
And Stephen A.
And he had on
and I tell you what, when I turned the show on, I went,
who's that?
Oh, that's not good.
It's not
and
good.
I said, is he trying to get street credit or what?
No.
And I said, he must have lost a bet
He did.
to Stephen A.
Yeah.
I got the solution.
What's the solution?
Do what I do.
What's that?
I always bet $2.
That's it.
That's all I can afford.
Yeah.
And a $2 bill.
Wait, are you trying to
So when you bet from now on, here's your $2 bill.
Yeah, here you go.
Where did you get that?
That's what you got to do. You get $2 bills. And you make sure when people lose their bet, you make them sign a $2 bill. Oh. This is my present to you. From now on, never bet again that you're going to wear a costume. Here's your $2 bill.
It wasn't my bet.
But you have to realize the history of it is that he bet Stephen A. to wear a Tony Romo jersey.
Wait, but Stephen
I saw that, and I saw that.
And he wore it for 2 hours.
I saw that.
And Stephen A. was
he
like...
took his off.
Exactly.
But remember, wait a second. Just point of order here.
Yes.
Stephen A. Smith went on record. He laughed and said, if the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East, I will wear a Tony Romo jersey and a hat.
No, you're
I didn't say it to him. He said it. He did it to himself,
You're right? You're right.
$2 bet.
That's it.
I got it. Here on forward.
Okay, so listen.
Where do you get these?
You gotta go to the bank. Make people go to the bank. Gotta get them at the bank.
You know he has a lot of money.
Oh, yes, $2. That's about it.
He's got a bunch of those sitting somewhere.
Yeah, Jefferson's.
Anyway, we appreciate you being here.
Good to be here.
I love it when you're here. The question is this. We're talking about playing injured or hurt. I heard you on Mike and Mike this morning. Really good perspective. Do you blame Manny for withholding the fact that he was injured?
Players are never going to tell you that they can't go.
Right.
That's just the mindset of a player. Now, obviously, in our sport, in team sports, it's much easier to protect that guy because you're not out there alone. Where in fighting, obviously, the only way you can protect yourself is try to protect yourself. But if you're not able to fight up to your ability, that's a problem. With that being said, you can't convince an athlete that he can't compete, and that's what they do in Pacquiao's situation. And I'm not going to sit here and try to say I knew what he was thinking, but I have an idea of how athletes think. I was an athlete before. And there's a difference between being injured and being hurt. If you're injured, you know I cannot perform up to my level.
Okay.
You're always hurt. If you're an athlete, you always hurt.
Something is always hurting.
But here's the problem. Some guys, when they're hurt, they think they're injured. That's not good.
Yep.
Explain.
In other words, you know, I'm not 100% healthy. My shoulder hurts. I can still play, but some guys will go, oh, coach, I can't go. And they're really hurt. They're not injured. See, in other words, and that's the fine line. So how much this injury affected him punching, only he knows that. I don't know that. We all speculate, well, he couldn't fight. Now it comes out he signed a waiver that he wasn't nothing wrong with him. Well, somebody should have known something. He's taking all these things to mask it, to help him, and then he doesn't get to do it before the fight. Well, something's wrong. Because you generally don't take all those things before a fight unless something's wrong, right? Now, did he perform well? I don't know. I just think it's one of those deals that, you know, we're going to make a big deal out of it. People that are that were betting would want to maybe know that more, say, well, he was injured. Look, players play hurt, and some players play injured all the time. That's just a fact. That's a fact. That's just an athlete's mentality. When it's time to compete, I'm playing, coach. You as a coach have to tell the guy most of the time, you're not going, partner. You're not going. Not going today. Didn't happen. He fought.
Okay. Beautiful perspective. Now, let me try to talk you through something that I attempted to explain to my debate partner, Stephen A. Smith.
You tried.
And I failed miserably because he's not as reasonable and open-minded a man as you are.
Be nice. You know who's watching.
His guy won.
Stop it.
This guy won.
That's what happened.
Nice.
Good.
Okay. So please open your mind because
I'll open it up.
I'm asking our viewers to do the same.
Yes.
Because there are I'm sure millions of people out there right here, right now,
Yes.
who are saying, I paid $100 to watch a fight in which a man fought with a torn rotator cuff that is requiring major surgery that's going to put him out for a whole year. I wasted 100 of my dollars, my hard-earned dollars, and they didn't tell me he was hurt, because if I had known he was hurt that badly going into the fight, I wouldn't have watched. I wouldn't have given him my $100. So, but again, if we put it in the NFL context, a game, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, people are watching games in which players probably shouldn't be on the football field, but they are on the football field, and they do okay because they suck it up and they play through it. Some are capable, some are not capable of that. Okay, now think about this. Manny Pacquiao is 36 years of age. For 5 long years, he has campaigned for one fight and one fight only, Floyd Mayweather Jr. He could not get him to okay this, to even talk about this fight. There are all these PED accusations going back and forth. He sued the Mayweather camp for the PED accusations. He was furious about it. Floyd shamed him, put a racist rant up on the internet, and Pacquiao was steamed over this. So he started to fight back by daring Floyd to fight him in commercials. He goaded him. He taunted him into fighting. And finally, he felt like he backed Floyd into such a corner that Floyd finally said at age 38, I guess I got to do this because I can't have that big asterisk on my undefeated record that I ran from Manny Pacquiao. So finally, May 2nd, 2015, it's going to happen. 2.5 weeks before, he's sparring. And I don't know exactly how it happened. He tears his right shoulder. He's left-handed, but he tears his right rotator cuff. And it's bad, but he's saying, man, I don't know. Maybe, he knows that if he gives Floyd one excuse here, if he says, I need a year off, I got to go have surgery on this, that he was afraid Mayweather would say, you know what, you're out, pal. I gave you your shot. I'm 38. I don't want to fight much longer. Remember, Floyd's talked again and again. This coming September, he wants to end it and retire. So if you're asking Floyd to wait a whole year, Manny Pacquiao's afraid that he would just say, you're done. It's a little about the money and a lot about the pride and the principle of this thing, that he wanted to beat Mayweather. But the money is huge, too, because you think Manny Pacquiao can draw that kind of a gate against anybody but Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
Or even
no.
a year from now, if he had to admit
Yeah,
something was wrong.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So this was huge to his life, his whole legacy, and he finally thought, you know what? I'm going to try this. I think I can do it, but I need a Toradol shot. Toradol,
Right.
the NFL
Exactly.
players use.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
anti-inflammatory shot to take some of the pain, maybe mask a little bit of it. He needed it 2 hours before the fight, and his manager is filling out the form a week before the fight. Nevada Athletic Commission, you have to check the box that you have a shoulder injury. Why he didn't do it, nobody seems to know. Was he trying to hide the injury on the form? Because it showed that he'd already had a Toradol shot. He had several different shots,
exactly.
right? Anti-inflams. So something was clearly wrong, and the Nevada State guy's reading it saying, he's doing all this for nothing? Because he didn't check any box of any injury. Well, were they trying to hide it, or were they just dumb? Did they just make a big mistake? But finally, in the end, a Toradol shot. Would it have really gotten him much better through the fight? I doubt it. Because if you're torn, man, you're torn. It's not going to operate much better. It's not going to function much better. Maybe it'd take a little of the pain when you actually connect with something against this torn cuff. But in the end, he just said, I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to fight. And I thought he fought his little tail off, given the fact that he was basically a one-handed boxer.
Well, and I think there's so many things, and we're all trying to figure out what happened in the mindset of Manny, obviously his group of advisors. At the end, it just looks bad now. Now let's just
Smells
say
bad.
Let's
feels
just say
bad.
this. Let's say he would have admitted before that, I got a shoulder, and then fought.
Right.
Would we look at the fight different? We probably wouldn't. We'd say, well, he wasn't healthy and he fought, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a great debate. Obviously, you mentioned players playing hurt. And the fans being mad that, well, if I'd have known he was hurt, I wouldn't have paid for it $100. Well, Peyton Manning played the last 5 games hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he was injured.
We figured that out. Yeah.
Okay, and you could tell the way they were playing. Now, he didn't come out and say it. He said, yeah, I got this I'm dealing with. But he never told how bad it was, right? I mean, he had to get surgery. So this happens. I mean, players don't play that way.
Last point.
Quick story.
Yeah.
Do you remember the great Emmitt Smith game
Yes.
against the Giants?
Yeah.
Everybody talks, it's a little before your time, but Emmitt Smith played with a knockdown shoulder. It was I think it was called I might be foggy on this, grade 2 separation that he suffered during the game. It was for all the marbles of the NFC East and home field advantage. And they won the game, and Emmett was sensational. And after the game, I'm talking to the trainer, the Cowboys trainer at the time, who refused to over-glorify what had just happened because he said, you know, they're making such a big deal out of this. He says, I got 20 guys in this locker room who have the very same thing, and nobody's saying a word about it, but we're all putting him up on a pedestal. And the point was, Emmett didn't like needles. He just didn't want to take a painkiller shot. And at halftime, they offered him one, and he said no. So the trainer's like, no big deal. They all got them, you know? Okay, they all do. You know
Except
that.
Our game, team sports are different.
Yep.
You can protect the guy a little bit.
Sure, you can.
Individual sport?
Not an individual sport.
You can't get protected.
Just a reminder, Stephen A. got a text from Floyd, and Floyd did say, and we'll just repeat that once again, he will fight him in a year after his surgery. So rematch, perhaps. Floyd's ready. Look at your face. You didn't know.
Wait, we got another fight.
Yeah, we do. Maybe. Can you stick around?
This time you'll be there.
Can you hang out with us or no?
I'm almost. We got another fight, you're saying?
Yes. Perhaps. Jameis says he could still see himself playing baseball in the future, but it won't be while he's playing for the Bucs. Should Winston be allowed to pursue America's pastime? That will be the discussion on the other side of the break. Herm is sticking around.